Bad loss. We're on to Cincinnati. There is a silver lining, Broncos country, after the team lost to the Los Angeles Chargers 34-27, a game that the Broncos had in the first half. It was 21-10. It looked like that was going to be the score going into halftime, but after that, a series of special teams penalties and defensive penalties let the Chargers get back into this game, and the Broncos weren't able to hold on to the lead. It's the second game that they have collapsed in on the road in division in this season. It sucks. It's one of the worst ways that you can lose a football game. But again, the Denver Broncos have to move forward because if they win one of their next two games against Cincinnati or Kansas City, they will officially punch their ticket to the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Let's go ahead and bring in the NFL playoff picture. The sky is not falling, everybody, despite all of the people on Facebook and some of the people I've seen on Twitter. Everybody thinks that it's all doom and gloom for Broncos country, but that's not the case, man. This was kind of the wake-up call and the slap in the face that they needed. They have to move forward and find a way to get a win in one of these next two games. 3 of the 4 seeds in the AFC have already been decided. The AFC West, obviously, with Kansas City, they're sitting at the number 1 seed. Buffalo is sitting as the number 2 seed right now. They have already clinched the AFC East at 11-3. The Houston Texans, they are sitting at 9-5. They have clinched the AFC South. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have lead on the AFC North right now. That division's pretty much going to be decided this week on Sunday when the Steelers and Ravens have their head-to-head matchup. That matters a little bit less for the Broncos now since they have fallen back down to the 7th seed. They had the 6th seed under control. If they had won this game, they would have had a chance to advance their seeding even further. But now, the Denver Broncos have put themselves in a position where you're probably not going to be able to advance your seeding any further than the 7th seed. The Chargers winning this game, they're probably going to end up with the 6th seed, and then it's either going to be the Steelers or the Ravens as the 5th seed. It's still not a guarantee, though, that the Denver Broncos get in. If they are unable to win one of their next 2 games, they need the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals to lose at least one of their games. If all 3 of these teams lose at least one of their games, the Denver Broncos can still get in with a 9-8 record. The Broncos, if there's 3-way tiebreakers between the Colts, the Dolphins, and Denver, Indianapolis would get in because division tiebreakers are broken first, not head-to-head tiebreakers, unfortunately. So there are plenty of scenarios Denver can find themselves on the outside looking in. Their most direct path to winning or to getting in is winning this week or this coming week against Cincinnati. You're going to have a long week of rest. You're going to have a way to self-scout a little bit and go back what you did poorly in this game. It was just a lot of poorly timed penalties for the most part, some coverage busts, and some poor tackling in the run game. Bo Nix missed a couple of throws, but overall I thought Bo had a good game. This loss is not on the offense. This loss is not on the play calling. This loss was because you got out-executed and you shot yourself in the foot on the defensive side of the ball. According to NFL.com's math, the Denver Broncos currently sit at an 85% chance to make the playoffs. Right now, the Denver Broncos sit... Sorry, let me go ahead and undo this real quick. The Denver Broncos currently sit, per the New York Times math, at an 83% chance to make the playoffs. So this percentage is give or take by a few. You're basically in the mid-80 percentages right now to make the playoffs. Win next week against Cincinnati, you're in. No problem. You've clinched. Or win the following week against Kansas City. Hopefully they're backups if they've clinched the number 1 seed already. Done. There are also scenarios this week that the Denver Broncos can clinch a playoff berth. It's not likely, but it can happen. You would need the Cleveland Browns to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, the Tennessee Titans to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Both of those are pretty unlikely. And then you would need the 49ers to beat the Dolphins. If all 3 of those outcomes happened, then the Denver Broncos could also make the playoffs. It's not likely, but it's possible. It's the old adage of any given Sunday. The Broncos have to take care of business. That's the short version of this whole video here. The Broncos have to take care of business. Win one of your next 2 games and you are in. The sky is not falling. The season is not over, Broncos country. This team can still make the playoffs. They still have plenty of time to self-scout and correct their errors on the defensive side of the ball. I thought that they played a really solid game offensively. I've seen some complaints about not committing to the run game enough, but at the end of the day, the Broncos should have never been in the position that they were in the second half of the game offensively. Your defense let you down. It let you down, and it was just player personnel error. It wasn't on coaching, it was player personnel error. That is the simple explanation, and sometimes the simplest explanation is the correct explanation. All right, Broncos country, let me know in the comment section below, what is your current worry meter level at for the Denver Broncos in terms of not making the playoffs? I am confident in this team. We have seen this team be able to bounce back after tough losses, and I'm confident they're going to be able to do that this week. The Cincinnati Bengals are a team that really has had some struggles, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, that entire team runs through them. The Broncos get Riley Moss back next week. Pat Surtain will be on Jamar Chase. The Bengals don't really move Jamar Chase around a whole lot, so Pat Surtain will be on him pretty much the whole game. T. Higgins is going to be on Riley Moss. Then, Andre Yosivach, another guy who's made some plays for them in the slot, Jaquan McMillan should be able to take care of him. If the Broncos can slow down this Bengals passing attack, they should be able to get their offense going once again on the ground, through the air, in Cincinnati, and if that's the case, you're golden. You will punch your ticket to the playoffs. And again, if you can't do it that week, you're hoping Kansas City has already got the number 1 seed locked up, so that way you can play their backups in Week 18. It's not going to be a guaranteed victory there either. Andy Reid will coach the Chiefs to win, even in a meaningless game against playing backups, but hopefully the Broncos already have the 7th seed locked up, and they can think about playing their backups in that game. All right, Broncos country, be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed and help us get to 5,300 subscribers by the end of the week. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.